Good evening. Welcome to Vibin with Ashley Live. I'm your host, Ashley Live, and thank you for joining me on this Saturday evening, wherever you are in the world. Happy holidays to you. I hope you guys are continuing to stay safe and wear your mask because we need this pandemic to be over. This is far too long to be dealing with this. So thanks guys for joining us this evening. Tonight we have a really great show. We have Timothy Morris Lane. He's a singer, songwriter, and pianist, and he's gonna hop in the room shortly. Thank you guys for joining us. So as you guys know, if you're here all the time when we do the show, I start every show with a song lyric, and Timothy is in the room, so I am going to invite him in and share the song lyric while he's in the room. So Timothy, if you could just request to join the live, I will bring you on in. Hi guys, how we doing tonight? I hope you're staying warm wherever you are. It's pretty cold in New York, so okay, so Timothy. Okay, hold on a second. Timothy!
What up, Ashley? How you
How
doing?
are you? You put a hat on.
I did. I figured I'd surprise you with it. Because it's so cold in front of this.
It's so cold. I love it.
Fire.
I have nothing behind me. I'm like up against this like wall. But I was just introducing you to the people that are in the room with us right now. And I start my show with a song lyric. So
Right.
the song lyric that I'm going to share is from your latest single, Be the Change. So I'm just going to share it with the room and then you can elaborate from there. Sound good?
Yep. Sounds great.
Okay, cool. We need to help one another, have love for each other. Then we can begin to make things right. It can start with me and you.
Or even
And
just a few, we can be the change the world needs to see. So,
exactly,
yeah,
exactly. So can you elaborate on those lyrics for us?
definitely. So I wrote this song maybe right before I moved to New York, back in like maybe 2014. I released it this past summer because I started because during the Black Lives Movement, during the
Yeah,
protests, I was like protesting in New York, and then I went down to D.C. for the Million Man March.
yeah,
It was just so powerful, and like all the footage that I got, I was like, in regards to racism and things like that. I
yeah.
mean, I'm one that has friends from every kind of culture. Like I speak 5 languages. I've been all over the world, hanging out with people and making friends, and, you know, feeling a part of so many cultures that when I come back home and then it's like that, you don't like someone because of a certain thing or their skin color. It just sounds ridiculous to me.
Right.
And what I noticed the common ground is with people is that we all want the same things at our core: healthy family, provision, um, just new experience. We all want the same things at our core. Why are we looking at each other's differences? Like, because you look like a different type of person than I am, then we can't um, meet in the middle. And so that lyric, it starts with love. Love, I really believe that the majority of the world's problems can be healed with love. Our planet, if we loved our planet more, we love each other more, you know.
Yeah,
Um, so I don't know. I think so. It just felt so timely to release a song now.
of
Um,
course.
yeah. So,
And I think leading with love is so important, not every year, but specifically this year, because there was so much coming at us, so many different directions. It's like, when is this going to end? What's going on here? There's a protest, there's looting, this is just the presidency, just like so much has passed, like, what, 9, 10, 10 months? 10 months.
yeah.
10 months?
Wait,
9,
now?
yeah, it's crazy. It's like, what's even going on?
Yeah. I mean, even when you summed up just then, I instantly got overwhelmed again. It was like 2020 has been a heck of a year.
Yeah. And it's just like there's so much craziness that came out of it, but there's also so much good. And there's so people are going to grow so much from everything that's happened. And please
I
continue
think,
to find yourself and love yourself, and just because there's, we're not out of this. This is just going to be something that we continuously have to work on.
yeah, yeah,
Within our, and then within our communities, and then politically,
yeah.
all this other stuff.
Definitely. It's not going to be an overnight fix, but I think that this year, a lot of seeds were planted that I feel like will grow into things that are going to benefit especially the next generation. I love seeing so many like young people just say, no, we're not doing this. No, we're not standing for this. People from every culture, and that's what I think, the beauty of one of the positives of the internet and us connected to each other is that, they can talk to, a little black kid in Cleveland can talk to an Asian kid in Tokyo every day playing games and just, connecting. So when you say, oh, you don't like them or don't like, a white kid from the Midwest, it's like, why? Like I play them in Fortnite every day. Like, so they're looking at this like, this is ridiculous. And I love that.
Yeah. It's so cool how with iPhones and the internet and Zoom, it's like you can literally connect with anybody. I mean, 10, 15 years ago, we all had flip phones.
You know what? That's the great thing. I remember when it came out. Lord.
I know. And I thought my flip phone was like the coolest thing ever. And look at what I can.
Who doesn't want to not have buttons? Like, come on, get out of here. No one wants to touch the screen, and here we go. That's all we do.
But iPhone has literally revolutionized my life. Just the fact that I'm able to do the show and connect with you. You're in Atlanta. I actually met you when you were in New York. Do you remember how we met?
No. I mean, I know it was at a BA gig, but I do so many of them. And I felt, did we only work on one together?
Yeah. So for everybody that's tuned in that wants to follow along, so Timothy and I actually met at an event. I'm not sure the exact year that we met, but in New York, we have 3, 4, 5 different jobs created. Like you don't just have one job, you have several jobs. So you were doing all these promotion events and probably going to different events every day. You're doing it for 3 days. Sometimes it's just for like 4 hours.
Mm-hmm.
I was doing the same thing at the time, and I'm gonna try to see if I can remember specifics to remember exactly where.
Hopefully it'll peak something like that.
Yeah, but we were in like this pop-up area. I think it was over on like 12th Avenue, and it was some, and I was in the lobby like checking people's coats and like checking people in, and you were standing in the lobby next to me, and it was like you and another guy, and I'm like, hey, like what's your name? And you're like, Timothy. I'm like, oh, what do you do? And you're like, oh, I'm a singer. I'm like, okay, so sing something for me. And you sang for me. I was like, oh, I love it. And then I connected with you, and I honestly don't even remember what year that was, but it was the craziest thing because I don't remember like what brand it was for, what year it was. I just know we were in some like empty, weird space, 12th Avenue, and I just like approached you like, what do you do? You're like, I'm
literally 10 different events just popped in my head. Like, I'm like, what's that?
But that's where we met. So
was I with another singer, Jeremy?
I think you may have.
Probably, yeah. We worked a lot of gigs together, and so I'm surprised he didn't pop up and sing too.
Yeah.
We do it all the time, constantly, yeah.
But sometimes you're at these events, you only meet the person like one day.
Definitely.
And then you meet all the people you work with. You're like, oh, what do you do? Oh, what do you do? And then it's just like, I was connected with you, and then here we are several years later doing this live, and now you're in Atlanta. So it's kind of funny how everything comes full circle.
Yeah, definitely.
Right?
Yeah. Who'd have thought?
Yeah.
Like 4 years maybe.
Yeah. Let's start from the very beginning. Who inspired you to get into music, and how old were you?
So I grew up in the church, and it all started there. My parents actually used to sing together and do duets in church. So I look back on it and be like, that was so cute. But growing up, you'd be like so embarrassed. But honestly, that they really planted the vocal seed, I feel like, for me then. Because I grew up playing piano, and I played in my church. And so honestly, I never really sang that much. And but then my mom put me in a choir, the Cleveland Boys Choir, when I was like 8. And then I stayed in that choir for at least 10 years. And, it was a choir like 30 little black inner city kids that this couple from the suburbs took us around and, got us gigs at all these really extravagant places. We ultimately ended up singing at the White House for Bill Clinton, doing his administration. And it was just such a surreal experience. And I mean, that really helped to at least keep me interested vocally. But honestly, I love like the music side and, and creating music. And so, early on, music has always been a part of me. But to be honest, I wasn't trying to be an artist. I was a nerd, and I was like, I'll be a doctor or something like that. And so music was always like a fun thing I did, but it wasn't a goal of mine to have as a career until I got into college and I really started. What happened was I wrote a song, my own song, and then it was just like, wait, I can do this. I can like write songs, and I feel like it was good. I was like, this sounds like it could be on the radio. And so then it slowly got grew a bit more. So
Very cool. So what year was it when you went to the White House with Bill Clinton? And obviously
94?
Mm-hmm.
I know it was mid 90s.
Yeah. What did that feel like as a young kid going to the White House?
It was just as you'd imagine. It was crazy, like the security, getting through the security, and they gave us a tour of the White House when we got in there. And honestly, Clinton came toward the end as we were like finishing up. I'm sure maybe not to draw so much attention, but he wasn't even like really there when we were walking around and doing stuff. But it was just. Honestly, I haven't really thought about it since then. It was really nice to be at a place I felt like I would never have been.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, it was beautiful and it just felt heavy. You felt the heaviness of where you were, and like you saw pictures of portraits of past presidents, and it's just like they walked these halls, like FDR walked these halls, and it just felt heavy. And to sing in there, like the acoustics in the place, it was just like, it felt big. It really did. I feel like that was like the highest point of our little boys choir when we got to do that. And everywhere else after that just felt like, it wasn't the White House. We did the White House. We're good,
I mean, once you sung at the White House, it's like everything else is small.
Yeah. Wow, I have not really thought about that. Yeah.
Very cool. How would you describe the music that you create?
So I love pop, right? I initially started, thinking I would do I love ballads initially. Like I love ballads, love any kind of ballad, R&B and pop. And then I started, really getting into wanting to make fast music. Like I just love, dance music. And so things ebb and flow, I feel like, because where I am now, I'm wanting to make more timeless music, music that I can sing when I'm 80. Me and the piano, for instance, like me, I'm on guitar, me and guitar. Like, I don't know, I'm feeling like I just want to make music that's going to be more, touch people's hearts and be around their, throughout their lives. Not that pop music won't. I mean, you can listen to Madonna's Girls Want to Have Fun, for instance. That'll just come around forever. But just me and my own music, I don't know, like the people I love, Luther Vandross, John Legend, Josh Groban, Marc Anthony, and all the songs that whenever I think about the music, the songs I'm singing are the ballads. It's just, it's just those types of songs that are going to be in, help you throughout the moments of your life. And ultimately, I just want music to inspire. And I feel like you can do that through a ballad. Because it just goes through all the BS and goes ping right there.
Yeah. It just hits you and you're like, oh my gosh, I remember where I was. Like for some reason, it made me think of We Are the World. Like
you hear it and not only are you taken back to the place when you first heard it, but it just, everything that's going on, unless you be going through something and you hear a ballad. It's like, I gotta get out of here, because it's just those kind of songs.
Yeah.
So I'm feeling like that's where I'm heading more. Not that I wouldn't make a dance track or upbeat song, but I don't know. I feel like it's progressing in that direction.
Timeless and legendary music.
See, you brought the pressure on. I didn't say legendary. I mean, hopefully, but more timeless, I think, is definitely the goal.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. What's your creative process?
Really depends. If I'm going through something, that pen game's way easier
Yeah.
I just feel like, I don't want to be those kind of, that kind of artist where I have to, always have to have my heart ripped out in order to make a ballad, to make a heartfelt song. But honestly, that is the best inspiration. But I feel like now I really have a good handle on the songwriting process and what literally makes a great song and like a whole song. So now I don't feel like I have to be going through something dramatic in order to create a song that I feel like can touch people. But yeah, I mean, I like to now, collab with my friends, with or without the beat, But if I have like the music, then I kind of like let the song tell me what it's gonna be about. Because you can hear an instrumental and you're just like soundtracks for films. You're not gonna have a dun 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 and a love scene. Of course not. Because the scene itself will kind of dictate. They dictate to each other. And so I think that being in the film arena now, I really understand the power of audio and visual. And if I get a track where it's like, strings and piano, it's like, I'm like, well, clearly this is a love song. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
And so then that kind of dictates what, the direction in which I will write.
So you let that music speak to you and you're like, oh, okay. And then just.
Yeah, because you can close your eyes and hear. I mean, listen to the song and hear just watch what plays out in your mind. And then, right. That's what, Lady Gaga said that. She said that she writes songs from her, from a music video aspect. So she watches the, kind of what plays out in her head, and then she writes the story out, and the story is the lyrics. And when I watched her interview, she said, "Oh, wow, that kind of makes a lot of sense." And so I started implementing a bit of that, to really help push those lyrics out and just tell the story. Because ultimately, I think that's why I really love country music, because they will sit there and be like, one day I woke up and I sat on my porch and I drank a bottle of whiskey and somebody walked by and I fell in love. Like it's really like you're sitting there like, wow, that really, I can see that happening.
Oh, yes. Yeah. So after college, you moved to Atlanta, then you were in LA, New York. Now you're back in Atlanta, but you also spent time in Japan. So talk to me about how these major cities shaped your music career.
Great question. So what really did it for me was when I got to college, I started studying different languages, right? So I started hanging around with like a lot of Puerto Ricans and Dominicans, and so I was like, oh, I was in the Spanish mode. So I started listening to Marc Anthony, went to Puerto Rico for the summer, and like really kind of like absorbed that reggaeton and like, and then I started studying languages heavily, and then I switched to Japanese as my major, studied abroad in Tokyo. But at the time, the thing is what helped me learn a lot when it comes to languages is the music. So I would listen to, honestly, Marc Anthony is one of my biggest influences because I listened to a lot of his songs when I was learning Spanish.
Yeah.
All of his ballads. And then when I started studying Japanese, Hirai Ken, who's a big Japanese R&B artist, great ballad. Like, I mean, anyone can listen to his music. And a lot of my, American friends did actually listen to all of this stuff. But that really helped to shape me, definitely melodically. I feel like Japanese music is very melody heavy, melody specific. The same goes for the super pop song. Da 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 da. Melodies that stick in your head. They're masters at that. And so, looking back, it really influenced. Here I am sitting there, really trying to grab the linguistic aspect of it. But it was really helping to shape me as an artist and wanting to make, music that can. Because I'm writing English songs, but I know I have friends in all over the world that don't know English, and so it's like, how do you still kind of get them? And it's the melody, and that hearing that commonality in all the different styles has really helped to help me when I like choose the sound of the song before I even write the lyrics. And now I'm getting to the point where I'm writing them. I'll write a song in English, and then I'll go ahead and do like a Spanglish version, and then a Franglish, French English version, and a Janglish, the Japanese English version, because I'm really seeing it all come together. But yeah, all the different styles definitely come into play when I write now.
And then the music scenes, right? Because the music in LA is different from New York, is different from Atlanta, so on and so forth.
Yeah. After school, after college, I graduated, moved to Atlanta, right?
Mm-hmm.
At the time, it was super R&B. It
Yep.
was, I think, the songs that were super big, like Trey Songz. I need a, no, it's not. I need a girl. Trey Songz.
Oh yeah.
I need to go to right. That's the other one. But honestly, like that was the scene, and so I felt a bit out of place because I wanted to do R&B pop. But Chris Brown was breaking through that. You know, like really making songs that were crossing over to the pop charts at the time, and really kind of breaking the R&B barrier.
Mm-hmm.
And so I didn't really feel like I was being heard in Atlanta at the time. So then that kind of drew me to a bigger market like LA or New York that had more, you know, international people and people who would be more apt to listen to pop R&B, because that's where I really felt like my strength was. But moving down, you know, and just really, you know, going to open mics and stuff down here, it really like, because Atlanta artists can sing, like, because it's a lot of like soul down here, and you go to open mic and, you know, you'd be singing a song, like a girl would get up and you sing like, oh, Tyrone, and have the audience sing, and literally the audience would sound amazing.
Yeah.
Because I feel like everybody in Atlanta can sing. So it really like forced me to like, you know, kind of get my vocal chops and really just try to like, not just, you know, sing, but like sing.
Of course.
So Atlanta definitely teaches you that. And coming back, it's so interesting listening to the scene here now, because I feel like it's a lot more open and a lot more, and you know, the city itself is now, you know, the most films in the world are filmed here.
Definitely.
LA and New York. And so it's, you know, it now has drawn so many different kinds of people that now the city is, you know, I'll hear anything at a club. It can be like, you know, but before when I lived here, it was very like, you know, trap or like real R&B.
Right.
But yeah.
So you were in New York previously, but you just moved to Atlanta.
I was, so it went from Atlanta, LA, New York, and now back in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting markets, all of them.
What prompted the move to Atlanta?
The move back this time?
Yeah.
Honestly, part of it was COVID. It was.
Yeah.
So COVID hit New York very hard.
It did.
And back in March, it was like, it's scary. Like, because the thing is, you realize during the pandemic that if something really happens and people have to leave New York, it's not going to happen. We don't have enough exit routes. And it just felt very tight, and that they're urging people to stay in and, you know, closing things. And so then once things started opening up, I think a lot of people started to realize that, you know, you're paying all this money to, you know, it's a great city, you know, of course. You know, you're paying a lot and doing all these things. And then if you can't do anything, you really start to notice, maybe I should try another place. And honestly, like out of 10 of my artist, actor friends, maybe 6 that had moved out by the time I had left. And I'm sure they'll come back once everything bounces back. But it really made me open to looking at another market. And I had just finished studying at New York Film Academy in May, right? But while I was in school, we did virtual for the last semester. While I was in school, Atlanta came up a lot, because clearly it's, you know, the next major market now. And so it was just kind of in my ear, Atlanta, maybe you should Atlanta, what do you think about Atlanta? And so I just kind of, I don't know, it was just sitting, my roommate and I, we both moved, and it was just like, yeah, let's just try it out. So it made it easier. I think I wouldn't have been open to the idea as easily had things just been going as normal, because summer is super busy for I sing events on weekends as well, right? So that'll be super booked as well as throughout the week for other kinds of events. So I mean, it's great to make money. So I wouldn't have been leaving. I don't think I wouldn't have had a conversation about moving. Please, I'm like, this is the prime time to be in the city, you know.
Right.
And then right before I left, I signed with an agent down here as well for acting and modeling and stuff. So it just kind of all, I feel like God was like, it's time. It's time. So yeah, all those things kind of came into play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think when you talk about living in New York City pandemic, we're like, we live in like matchboxes, and we pay all this money and we can't do anything. We're stuck.
and people are working in these matchboxes. You can't even, and like, oh, don't go outside. I'm like, you're out of your mind. There's no way I'm staying in this tiny apartment. I'm like, scared to walk my dog to go pee. Like, that was just not, that was not the time, you know?
Right. Yeah. No, I've talked to so many people in New York. A lot of people have been on the show and they're like, I just have to leave for a little bit. And I'm like, I totally get it. I don't mind spending a lot of money if I'm, going to movies, going to concerts, meeting people, hanging with my friends. But like, if you erase all that from the city, it sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you see yourself back, or do you see yourself staying in Atlanta for the next couple of years?
Yeah, I think that Atlanta is now my base. But honestly, I really look forward to doing some stuff back in LA and back in New York. And then next year, I'll be in New York a lot for gigs. But I think it's just a good base. You know, your money goes a little longer here.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really feel like there's a lot of great opportunity down here.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, congrats on the move.
Thank you. Thank you.
How do you balance music and acting?
It's a process, to be honest, because things ebb and flow in the entertainment industry. There's sometimes I would feel in my life, my music was popping off. And then other times I would be, on people's sets just shooting all the time. And so I learned to, because what people would tell me is, you got to focus on one, right? So really I was focused mainly on music, and I would do a quick acting project every now and again, right? Just to keep my skills sharp. But I was like, I can't take on something long term because I can't like let go of music. I can't do them both. When really, I started noticing that people's careers, people that were really respected, they do it all. Mm-hmm. It's not necessarily they're just a singer, they're just an actor, they're just a brand. It's like, especially nowadays, you really start to see a holistic entertainer and how they have their hands in a lot of different pots. And I think the balance just comes into doing what feels right. Mm-hmm. Instead of it overthinking it, because that was me. I'm a thinker, and I would talk myself out of projects before I even said yes or no. It's like, no, I just can't do it. But I think now I'm in a place where the project feels right, the timing's right. Why not?
Yeah. And you're totally right. When I think of performers right now, they're doing a bunch of things. They do this, they do this. It's not just like, oh, I'm just an actor. Oh, I'm just a singer. Like everyone's kind of branching out in all these different directions. So good, because you never know. Like you said, oh, I was booking all these gigs, and then I was like, oh, but I don't want to leave music. It's like,
But it's not leaving it. And look
exactly.
at great projects like Empire, or Glee, or like, projects like that really, or Broadway, literally in the city, plays, musicals, where you can really do all of those things and just, live in your fullness. And so I think that, especially nowadays, I feel like it's a great time for that.
Yeah, definitely, especially in this lockdown period that we have. And it's like, you can't just be doing one thing. Like you kind of have to have all these brands say, hey, we just don't know which is really going to stick at this point.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's so funny you say that. I feel like every artist, actor, I go to people's pages and they're like selling, this, that. And it's because, our normal route to, especially for artists, like you make money from performing.
Exactly.
Now that you can't even do that, and virtual is great. It's still a way to connect with people. I mean, look at Chloe and Halle. They've been on everything. And their fan base grew a lot because they were, But it's just not, the opportunities went from live to like that. And so now I can see why, but it makes you really try to figure out how to grow your brand, connect with people better. And I think that the world was going more virtual anyway.
Yeah.
Because you can touch more people, obviously, across the world. And so I think now that's COVID has shifted the world mindset to that a lot faster than how it was going before.
Definitely.
But now it's like, no, you definitely have to do it now. Build your fan base internationally, nationally, reach these people all over the world. And the best way to do that, come up with it. And then,
Yeah. Yeah. When you're on Instagram or Facebook or Twitch, you're on all these platforms, and you not just
mm-hmm.
New York people. It's like you're reaching people all over the country, all over the world. Like I've interviewed people on here that are like, "Oh, most of my fans are overseas," and
Yeah.
that's so amazing. Like so amazing because now with internet and social media, you're able to reach every part of the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I
Definitely.
mean, that's the positive aspect of it. You know,
Hmm.
I think that that's the healthiest way to get through this time is to focus on that because a lot of people have lost a lot. My friends and I, we've lost countless jobs, you know, but rather than focus on that, it's like, how are you going to sustain yourself at this point and, um, you know, just kind of grow from it.
Yeah.
Right? Let it beat you down.
Yeah. Keep on pushing, keep on being creative, collaborate.
Mm-hmm.
You never know where the next opportunity is going to come from.
Yeah,
Hmm.
definitely.
So in October, you released your powerful single, Be the Change, that we discussed earlier. And
Mm-hmm.
then to lead with love and help each other. So what else do you hope people will take away from this song?
Um, So I released a visual online that goes with that.
Mhm.
And it's a compilation of, you know, the first part of it is mainly focused on Black lives and, you know, the protests and equality in that regard. But then the next, second verse, I wanted to put in more, you know, the world, the environment and things like that. Because I feel like it's so easy to focus on some of these problems when I think our environment and the world is next up to be on the board for what's important. You know,
Mhm.
like I think that friends, I don't like to get political, but like when we left the Paris Agreement, it was just so why wouldn't we want to help the environment? Like that just doesn't. We you know we need to breathe. We need to breathe this air. We need you know our kids need to have a planet to live on.
Mhm.
And so I think that I wanted to raise that point and bring that to people's awareness because it's just so easy just for us to just focus on, you know, a couple of problems, things that feel really like in our face. But I really feel like climate change is a big thing. And so that's why I kind of threw that in there for the second verse. And then Bridge, I just wanted to kind of bring the point together that I do feel like love is, you know, leading with love is the best way to initiate the conversation that's going to bring
Mhm.
about and I think a lot of it starts with how we are living and putting out that energy and dealing with one another. Um, I know it's a lot, but
I love it though. I
every
think that's
song.
important.
But
You need to put it out there. Like we're not always feeling that way every single day, but like just put it out there because you never know who needs it.
right, definitely.
You've worked with David Foster, Rod Stewart, BeBe Winans, countless others. Share with us one of the most memorable moments from that time.
So what do you say, David Foster? So I didn't realize I was a fan of David Foster until I was like in the rehearsal with him, and he was just at the piano. First of all, as a pianist, I mean, I knew he played, you know,
Yeah,
but he started playing like all the songs that he wrote, right? Whitney
right.
songs and all this like Bodyguard soundtrack. And you know, so I was, you know, with in the choir with some of my friends from church. We were all just in there for rehearsal, and you know, they're singing "Share My Life," you know, doing all this. And then at the end of the rehearsal, he's like, "So who wants to get up and play and sing a song that they wrote?" And
Wow.
literally everyone looks right at me. I'm like, "Hey, let's do it." And so I played the song I'm actually going to record down here, probably the first time I recorded in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Um, it's a ballad, and you know I got a new keys and I played it for him. And then at the end, he was like, you know, sat there and listened to it. He was like, "It's a great song. It's a great song." I was like, "Thanks, cool, cool." And then I saw him two more times throughout the evening, and every time he saw me, he was walking out the church, and he goes, "Hey, great song." I was like, "Thanks." And he's driving out of the parking lot in his beautiful Mercedes Benz.
Yeah.
Rolls down the window. "Hey, that song though." I was like, he actually really that. That really like
Yeah.
smacked some reality into me. Like, Tim, I need to work on this song. And so honestly, that was one of the and just to hear hear him say that and put his stamp of approval on it. Like, and it's his style too. like something he would have written like a, you know, ballad, very piano and stringy, but it was just really nice to hear him say that.
Yeah, that's incredible.
It's coming. It's coming. It just didn't, you know what? I'm also noticing songs come at different times in life, but not to be released, you know, necessarily then. And so it just didn't feel right. The timing just didn't. But yeah, definitely one of my most memorable moments.
So what year was that?
That was, I was in LA 11 to 14, 2013.
Okay.
It was toward the end before I moved to New York.
I mean, just to be in the same room with David Foster is unbelievable. But for you to perform for him and for him to just kind of be like, oh yeah, great song, like that's all you needed.
You know, the interesting thing about it is, I probably, like, there was a part of me that was like, you know, very timid, you know, growing up. And sometimes that jumps out still. And I probably wouldn't have done that had, you know, everyone not looked at me, because they kind of knew that that him and I had similar musicianship.
Yeah.
And I just look back on it, I'm like, I'm glad that sometimes you gotta hop on it. You gotta hop on the opportunity.
Right.
Because I would have never had, you know, you never know. I could release a song and then David would be like, I remember this song. Let me hit him up and have him, you know, just never know.
You never know.
That never would have happened had I not, you know, jumped on the opportunity. So that's the life lesson in that one.
Yeah, because you just never know when someone's gonna be like, hey, it's your turn. You're like, oh, and then they just push you into it, that's so cool.
It was fun.
Now, that song you said hasn't been released yet. If you're gonna record it soon.
Yeah, I'm still tweaking it last year. It's coming. I was gonna give the name and stuff. It'll be the next one probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
January, February?
No, but maybe. You know what? I don't want to give it yet, only because I don't know. It's just the feel right to release, you know. And I'm working on a lot of different projects, so because it could go really good for a movie as a soundtrack for it. So that's why I don't want to necessarily put it out yet.
Right.
But it's definitely movie soundtrack sounding. So
stay tuned, because you definitely this song. So please, if you don't already follow Timothy, please give him a follow right now, because this song's gonna drop. We don't know when, but it will.
Don't know when. But I mean, January, February, I'm gonna be recording numerous songs. So
yeah,
I just really feel like this it's after COVID, and I feel like the world's gonna be opening up, and I'm gonna want to just keep fueling that positive energy throughout the world. So music's coming.
Yeah.
For sure.
Awesome. A few of your influencers include Stevie Wonder, John Legend, Michael Jackson. What other musicians do you look up to?
Usher, probably one of my biggest influences. You said Stevie Wonder, Luther Vandross. I don't know if you said Luther Vandross for sure. Because I love tone, you know.
Yeah.
Tone like him, Tamia, like just hearing one of my boys here, fellow artist Jerry Michael, he told me to shout him out and say he's one of my influences. I'll just shout you out. How about that? Yeah, so Tamia, definitely. Alicia Keys. The thing is, for me, songwriting is super, super big, right? And so a lot of people I like don't even necessarily not artists themselves, but I'm seeing like the wave of artists who are songwriters now coming out and doing, like Victoria Monet, who's written a lot of great stuff. I'm excited about her her release of her own stuff. But yeah, back to my influences. I think that those are probably my Smokey Norfolk, gospel artist. Like I said, Marc Anthony, Hirai Ken, Japanese artist. So a lot of different influences. Corneille, he's a French artist, but he has a song "Supposition Paix" about, I think his family was killed during the riot, the massacre in Rwanda, and he has a song called "Supposition Paix," and it's like the melody, just great.
Yeah.
So these are artists I really just would love to collaborate with. And probably my favorite now is Leanne Lahavas. I don't know if you know her.
Yes. Yes. She is unbelievable.
Literally, like, if I wanted to collaborate with her so bad, just because I just love the heart in her music. Like,
Yeah.
you can always tell. So after a gig, there are only a few people I can listen to because I've been singing for hours. And Leanna House is one of them. I can put her music on and just coast on the way home, And I feel like that says a lot. Like, she really is a soothing voice in today's time. So shout out to you, Leanna House. She's English, so
Yes.
my accent.
I actually had somebody on here a couple of weeks ago. She had a song that she had written. And she's like, oh, I talked to my manager. I said, oh, we should reach out to so-and-so because I'd love to have him on the song. And they were able to get him on the song. And she goes, I never would have thought that he would be on the song with me. And she just released a single earlier this month. And I go,
Wow.
that's because when you say you want to work with her, you put it out into the universe. Maybe you or you're out to her and you let the universe take it away. And
You're right. You never know. So Leanne, I'm ready.
He's ready. What's the best advice you've ever been given?
I know it sounds so cliche, but never give up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even gonna lie. Like, there's been plenty of times I've been like, I'm just done, because the ups and downs, and when things you don't feel like things are happening. What I've also come to find out is that I was in a church service today, and there was a message about that, and how you may not feel like he's doing anything or things are happening in your life, but you just may not see it, right? Because then when things actually pop up and happen, those things were in the works, right? So in that time you felt like nothing's happening, nothing's gonna work out for me, I'm ready to quit. Yeah. Those are the times you gotta have a little bit more faith. And so that mantra, don't give up. Believe in yourself, believe in what you are, yes, in your heart's heart that you are meant to do. And no one can really tell you that, because you know it. That's the only reason why you still do it. You just can't walk away. So just don't give up. Yeah,
don't give up, because you never know. You never know, like, what's around the corner.
1 day away.
Yeah, 1 day, 1 year. You never know. You never know who's watching or who's listening. Like, you might be in a room with David Foster and everyone points at you and says, get up there.
Mm-hmm.
So never give up.
Yep. And one more, this reminds me of what Will Smith said that really was poignant to me back when I was starting to act. He said that you may look better than me, you may rap better than me, you may just so on and so forth. He said, but you are never going to outwork me. And I was wow. And he worked, at that time, he was putting out movies back to back to back to back. So you wasn't outworking him. And so it's like, and then he also used to say, stay ready so you ain't gotta get ready. And it's so true. Like, and especially in the times you feel things that happen, and that's the time you can be refining it and refining your skills and picking up something better that's gonna make you even better. Because when an opportunity hits and you're like, things are popping off, how much time do you think you're gonna have for self-development and self-growth? Not much, So now is the time to be doing that stuff.
Exactly, because all we have is time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What advice would you give to other musicians in quarantine?
That, what I just said, basically to don't take for granted being, well, some people were forced to do it, but being able to work on stuff, to read some books that may help you with, in other aspects of your life. A lot of us musicians aren't, not necessarily financially savvy, right? So we'll make money, or get money, or go pay bills and, go out, after gigs. But maybe take some of that money and start investing it, in Robinhood or Stash. What's my endorsement? But no, for real. I just love those apps because you can really just start to funnel a little money away and put it in stuff that you like. Maybe those Beat headphones that help you, or like the Apple stock, and just kind of grow holistically, grow as an artist and as a person during this time. So I feel like, because when things are popping off, I know, like, a year will go by. Like, I was in New York for 6 years. I was working constantly. And it's like I got there and I'm here. because great experiences and things like that, but time will fly.
It
So how much time, like I said, do you have to really work on yourself and become a better musician, become a better person, read some books that are going to make you better. Just don't let the time go by. Don't take it for granted, because the world will open up, and then we'll be back on the grind.
Yeah, and it's like, what did you do during quarantine to better yourself? Like, and you have to do that self-reflection and just be like, okay, what did I teach myself? Like, did I go to therapy? Did I read books? Did I do podcasts? Did I start something? Did I write songs? There's so much that you can.
Did you write songs? You said that to me, because I was like, no, I just writing some songs.
Just a bunch of random things, because I know there's a lot of people in this chat, and some of them are not musicians, so it's kind of like whatever you're into and whatever serves your purpose, you just lean into that. So
yeah,
definitely. So this is the part of the show where you are going to perform for us. So take it away.
I know that. I'm just kidding. Imagine. I'm like, I got y'all. Yeah, no, I got y'all. So I'm gonna do two of my newest songs that I released this year. One is Overwhelmed, that came out in the summer, and then I'm gonna do Be the Change that we've been talking about, but I'm gonna do the faster version that's not out yet. Not out yet, because I want to do a collaboration with some of my friends and make the visual really great. But during COVID and stuff, I'm like, who are we kidding? People ain't get together like that. So it'll come. Yeah. You ready?
Ready.
All right. Yeah, something so beautiful, it's hard to put in words. So powerful and incredible, but afraid that it would hurt. Letting darkness from my past, the present gift, from entering my guarded place to sharing what you bring. I was not ready for the power of your love, but that was then and this is now. No hesitation, I want you to overwhelm me with your love. Can't get enough, I wanna be up in it, hey, I wanna feel it all around me. Yeah, love was something that I thought I didn't need. I was wrong, yeah, so wrong. Oh, I was empty, trying to fill with everything. A broken heart in many places, because I wanted you, but I was not ready for the power of your love. But that was then and this is now. No hesitation, I want you to. I wanna be feeling, and I wanna feel it all around me, overwhelm me with your love. 'Cause I can't get enough. Hey, overwhelmed, baby, overwhelmed. You are the one I wanted, even before I knew. It was always you. You were the one I wanted, even before I knew that the one I was looking for was always you. Hey, and around me. Yeah, overwhelm me with your love. No, I can't get enough. And I wanna be up in there. Oh, yeah. I was not ready for the power of your love. That was then, this is now. That was then, this is now, yeah. Oh, that was Overwhelmed, y'all. And that one came out in July. And thank you. And so that's available everywhere. And it's just about, wanting to be overwhelmed by that love that you were so afraid to receive. So. And this final one is called Be the Change. And it's just, I just want you guys to be the change you want to see in the world. We may not be the same. In fact, we're different in many ways. Yeah. Am I really wrong? Because I sing a different song. There's so much pain when we harbor hate. We need to help one another, have love for each other. Then we can begin to make things right. It can start with me and you, or even just a few. We can be the change the world needs to see. It starts with love, love, love. Let's be the change the world needs to see. There is a war and devastation, destruction and poverty. It really makes you wonder where's the peace. Our future is shrouded by vision so cloudy, we don't even see. There's so much pain because we've lost our way. We need to help one another, have love for each other. We can begin to make things right. It can start with you, even just a few. We can be the change the world needs to see. It starts with love, 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 love. The world needs to see. When did we all become so numb to the very thing that makes us human? Because of the love for one another, we can make the world better. There's always so much part of something greater. Having love for each other, we can begin to make things right. It can start with me and you, or even just a few. We can be the change the world needs to see. We can be the change the world needs to see. Oh, be the change the world needs to see. To see. Be the change, y'all.
Be the change. Where can everybody find that?
So Be the Change, the acoustic version is out today. You can find it on iTunes, Amazon, Spotify, Tidal, Google Play, all of it. So yeah, definitely check it out. I love to connect with all you guys, and I got some great music coming, and I'm just trying to touch you guys' hearts and just inspire everyone to be their best selves.
Yes. Always be the change, spread love, speak with love, and this is the time to do it because we all need it.
Definitely.
If you guys have any questions for Timothy, please make sure to put them in the chat and he will answer them. So in the time, tell everybody where they can find you, all your social.
So my website is everythingtomorris.com, but on Instagram, Twitter, Snap, everything is Timothy Morris Lane. TimothyMorrislane. And yeah, I try to keep it pretty simple on that. You know. People may know me by Timorris, but I switched to Timothy Morris Lane just because I feel like I'm in my fullness now. So why not use my full name, you know?
Exactly. Exactly. Where would you like to perform next?
What would I like to perform be the change? Or just in general?
I think in general.
That is a very good question. I mean, honestly, everywhere. I would just, you know, I just love to connect with people, and I feel like live is where it's at. You know, I started out playing in the smallest venues, you know, bars, and honestly, it's just something that's so organic about playing in those places because they're just there to hear some great music, you know. But of course, you know, arenas and you know Madison Square Garden. We're gonna put it out there all around the world. Coliseums, Italy, you know.
Yes, everywhere.
Definitely.
Are you the only singer in your family?
No. My big sister, actually, April Lane, is a great artist and overall person. She does, and I think it's considered contemporary gospel music. But she's working on a project. She just released a couple singles, and her album. She did a secret album listening party down here last month, and it was just so awesome to hear her stuff, you know. And I really feel like she's going to touch, you know, people who don't necessarily listen to gospel music because she got some bops. I was like, you got some songs that I feel like these young kids would just, you know, vibe to, and not realize the message is, you know, telling them to, you know, be their best selves, give their, you know, lives to the Lord and trust Him and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah. So she and I are holding it down. My little brother used to sing, but now he's in the production side. He acts like he ain't singing no more.
So, other than your Venmo, which is listed below, so please Venmo Timothy for that beautiful performance, this wonderful interview. How else can people support you in your career?
Honestly, just share my songs. I think that is, I mean, the music speaks for itself. You know, I feel like it touches people in, you know, various ways, different times of their lives. But my thing is, like, people don't know to listen to it if they... Exactly. And also, you know, that word we don't like to say as much, but just follow my pages. And just, you know, you can show your support that way. And I would just love to, you know, stay connected with all you guys because I feel like it's definitely, that's the way to do it.
Definitely. What is coming in the next few months for you?
Okay. So definitely recording some new music, which is great. Working on some projects I want to direct and get done myself. So, that I can't really give information out on, but yeah, definitely the balancing act of, you know, acting and music, and ideally, I mean, I want to be on a show where I can do both. You know, that would be, I think that'd be the best thing. You know, plays and things like that. But I'm gonna be in the studio just kind of letting some of this COVID angst out and just see what comes, see what music comes out.
Definitely. So stay tuned. If you don't already, please make sure to follow Timothy on all social channels. If you don't already, please follow me because I interview amazing artists like Timothy.
And thank you, Ash. Thank you so much for having me on. And hey, I just love what you're doing and you know, just introducing us to just more people.
Yeah. Thank you so much. You're welcome to come back time and share your music and talk because I love it. I created this show just because I love music. I'm a music fan. I love interviewing people. And I also miss, you know, performing. Like we don't have that anymore. So I'm cool and I've built this whole community. We bring all these amazing people in. So like I said, if you don't already, please make sure to follow Timothy. And yeah, any final words on your end?
Thank you guys for watching. I look forward to connecting with you guys more.
Yes. Thank you so much. Happy holidays. Best of luck.
Yes.
Please continue to stay safe.
Definitely. Thank you as well.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a good night.
You too. Good night. Bye-bye.